So the reason why I love Rambo so much is that he's such a well-rounded character. He's got great zoning tools that make him a very strong defensive character. And then he's got 4 different mids mixed up with the tick throws with leopard crawl that makes him really oppressive on an offensive side of things. He's got pretty decent movement too. I'd say his back movement is probably the best. He's got some weaknesses, obviously we'll go over later, but just from a good standpoint, 4 mids, plays really good full screen neutral control and has good zoning tools. Yo, it's good. My name is Dylan Lloyd, aka Rambo Lloyd. I was given the name Rambo Lloyd by the community because I'm known as one of the best Rambo players in the world. Rambo is unanimously accepted to be the worst character in the game. However, I've placed respectably with this character in multiple tournaments, most notably placing top 30 in Pro Comp, top 17 in the MK series, and most recently I became one of the only players from North America to make a grand finals with Rambo in a tournament, online or offline, by becoming the first Rambo player ever to make grand finals in the Polo Outlet Invitational. So before we start, be sure to subscribe to DashFight for more character guides and check out their website for all things FGC. Let's get into it. I'm a more defensive-minded Rambo in the sense that I know that his zoning tools are extremely good. So 2 things in this game that you have to think about is preserving your life lead and playing really good defense, because this game has a propensity to, make the opponent have a good comeback on you. So his offense, even though it's not amazing, his animations are wonky enough to really stagger the opponent and shimmy the heck out of him. So I kind of feel like those things kind of make him pretty well-rounded. However, I personally do feel like he's a better defensive character than he is offensive. Well, at least that's how I prefer to play him as. Because when I look at this character, I think of preserving my life lead, because in this game that is like paramount, because this game has propensity for huge comebacks. So let's go over his normals really quick. He's got a nice stand 1 that's startup of 8 frames. His down 1 is 7, not bad at all. He's got, I think, like 4 different mids. He's got the back 3, that's a mid that starts at 12. It's like, okay. He's got a back 2, that's 11 frames. That's actually not too bad. He's got this forward 1 that is also 11 frames. And then he's got this back 1 that's also a mid that starts up at 18. One of the weak points of this character, which I'll get into again later, is that he just has no 9-frame mid. But to have 4 separate mids, that's pretty decent, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Rambo is one of the most unique characters in the game when it comes to preserving a life lead, because he has all the tools to do so. So when I'm playing defense, I'm thinking about, okay, get the life lead, right? Lay a claymore down. Now, this is only for characters that are not teleport-based characters. Obviously, if the opponent has strong zoning tools, then I'll use another type of variation based upon their zoning tools. But in this case, if the opponent can't teleport, I'm fine with putting a claymore between me and that character and just zone trading. The variation I like to use with Rambo is with claymore and shoulder roll. So from a defensive standpoint, you just lay the claymore down back 3, right? There it is. So when you got your opponent away, you want to do something that I call full screen neutral control. What I mean is you're literally full screen and you're controlling neutral, okay? They can't advance with you any farther than this, right? So here I am throwing arrows, doing whip traps. But see, if they forget about the shoulder roll, I can come in, cancel. Basically with shoulder roll, it's back, forward, 4. And then you hold down to cancel. To do an overhead, it's back, forward, and then EX. To just do a KB shoulder roll, that's just holding. You've got to hold 4, back, forward, 4, hold, right? Also, I like to do a lot of this. I like to shoulder roll into cancel and down 3. His down 3 is real nice. It's a 9-frame startup. I call it the poor man's Night Wolf down 3. It's pretty nice. You get your opponent in that position, you can do a nice forward 3. This is a great high, actually. Look at the range on this forward 3. It's actually pretty sweet. A lot of Rambos go into like confirms like that. It's pretty cool. But yeah, this is my main variation, is the defensive variation. But we'll go to his other variations that are used a lot, such as the crawl. The crawl is actually used a lot with him too. You know, your opponent is really tough. and he's reading a lot of your moves. So you just want to kind of like mix it up. So let's say he's blocking all the moves, right? You just back forward 4 into this crawl, and you have many options. You have a grab option. That's actually back forward, crawl 2, back forward into this is a parry, so you're pressing 3, back forward, parry 3. To cancel out of the lever crawl, you just press 4. It just makes you stand up. So lever crawl 4. So let's say like I'm doing a string. This is negative like 1,000. You just don't want to. You don't always want to do the string. You can get extremely punished. So if you feel like the opponent is reading that you're doing forward 1, 2 to try to launch them, you want to go forward 1 into lever crawl and then grab them. You grab them right out of the block. Let's say they don't block, and I can see that. I can just go into lever crawl and into slash. This move is great. Obviously, it eliminates shoulder rolls, so you can't roll like I was doing before. But like I said, again, if the defensive side of things aren't working, this is really good close-up game, because now you have all these close-up options going into tick throws and then getting them in and all this other stuff. So I enjoy that a lot. So I'm going to show you, before we get off to his weak points and gaps, some cool stuff I do with the Claymore with him in the corner. This is one of my favorite things to do with Rambo. I like to set up Claymore setups and restand my opponent here in the corner. The Claymore setups with Rambo are like my favorite because, number one, this is unblockable. They're going to get launched. What I like to do is fake out the opponent with normals and then have them guess when I'm going to put down the Claymore, because even if they down one check me or they're mashing, whatever they're doing, they're going to get hit by that Claymore unless they advance. So here's some of the mix-ups I like to do. So as you can see, I have some of his normals here, his 1-2, his 1-2-1, his back 1-2, his back 3. This is a very important move. This is called commando. This commando move is really important because this is a great restand on your opponent. See how I just restood him? There he is. Now I do anything I want, especially in the corner. This is majorly a good move. So what I like to do is with Claymore setups is I'll just go like forward 1-2, Claymore gets launched, commando, bam, 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 bam. Now a majorly plus here. So I just go forward 4. When I restand the opponent here, I like to forward 4. This forward 4 move is an overhead, and because Rambo is so plus, they can't do a whole lot there. Usually when you're in a scramble, the opponent's going to duck down. Even if you duck down, you're going to get hit by that. Even block, yep, still going to get hit. It's an overhead. So what I like to do here is just mix up the Claymore. Mix up the Claymore. Bam, bam. Sometimes I don't even put down the Claymore. Bam. Just like constantly, and then restand, whatever I gotta do, just to continue to mix up the opponent in the corner here. I have literally just like absolutely depleted an entire life lead of an opponent's away just because they cannot guess when this Claymore is coming out. It's just constantly there. And even if I mess up like I did there where I dropped the combo, the animations, everything is going so fast, they cannot like figure out when it's gonna stop. But I will tell you how to do it. As soon as you see the Claymore come down, just wake up pressing buttons. But they have to be forward advancing. So if you're just like standing in place and doing it, you're still going to get hit by it. You have to do a forward advancing normal on me to really get out of it. See? Perfectly done. That's the only way to get out of that Claymore situation. But even if you get me out, I can still push you back. So the Claymore is really, really a cool, unblockable tool that can really get in your opponent's head and frustrate them. So I feel like Claymore is the strongest piece of Rambo's variation. Okay, so now I'm going to start off with why Rambo is one of the weakest, if not the weakest and worst character in the game. So he's got 4 mids, right? And they all have their own strings to them. The problem is they have these large gaps that you can flawless block them with. So like this forward 2 string, look at this large gap. That gap in between the forward 2 and the 1, super large gap. And then if you do back 2 into 4, like they can actually floss block this 4. Like look at that, like they can actually do that. You can actually floss block the first 2. You can actually floss block that first 2. So if they floss block that first 2, you know, it's like now you're at their beck and call. But, you know, even if they block the whole string, now you're negative 30. That's horrible. Why is a launcher that bad? I just don't understand. It's just terrible. Look at that. Look at that punish. So it's like he has unsafe strings with his mids, and that's really a huge problem considering the fact that his fastest mid is an 11 frame mid. That's why the leopard crawl thing is so kind of crucial, or, you know, going into the shoulder roll that I do. But I'll show you why the shoulder roll is also a weak move as well. But first of all, let me show you some special moves that are kind of weak as well. So this is the mace trap here. This is down back 4. This mace trap is down back 4. This snare trap is down back 3. Okay, so you obviously don't want to do a mace trap this close. This is not good. You're negative 20 on block. And the closer you get, it's worse, negative 22. So your opponent can come in and punish like anytime. Yeah, if they had a fast enough string, or, you know, they have a projectile there, you can definitely get punished. Or if you do, let's say your opponent is blocking low, and I do the snare trap this close, that's negative 23. The M60 is a high. Even if I EX it or not, it's a high, you can just duck it. The problem is, for you as the opponent, you have to get in on me, and if you just continue to do that and I'm reading that, I can just whip trap you. So from this distance, it's really strong. Like, I'm just mixing you up all day. And then if you're blocking because you're not trying to get whip trapped, now you're getting pushed back. See the pushback? So this is actually a great combo, full screen. Here's where it's a problem, and it's really weak for him full close. So if, let's say that's negative 14 from that distance. So RoboCop, I believe, can actually probably punish that actually with a projectile. But, you know, if I'm close, like up here, and you neutral duck that, that's super punish right there, super punish. Or if I accidentally do the whip trap this close, that's negative 21, okay? So, like, you gotta be careful about when you're zoning with this character. You have to be around this range. And now, last but not least, the shoulder roll is very punishable as well. So I popularized this move because I just like to use it a lot. I think its strengths are that I can make it safe, right? Safe if I EX it. I can cancel it into other moves like that. You know, and there's also a crushing blow attached to it as well. But here is the problem. If you see me rolling to you, you can just down one me out of it. Look at that. You can just punish right there, right? Every time you see it. Every time you see me roll, nope. See? Doesn't even do it with the EX either. So the roll is very punishable. Like, you can just down one me out of it, and that's it. So I'd like to give a personal shout out to Van. Eternal Vanity is a wonderful Jade player, and she's helping me out here on this tutorial. Can't thank you enough. And she's going to show us all why. Hey, that's her waving. She's going to show us all why Jade is such a hard counterpick to Rambo, and why I feel like Jade is the best counterpick to Rambo in the game. Like in my instance, you have shoulder roll, right? Well, like I told you, you can actually punish shoulder roll with down one. See that? She just punished it, right? But she doesn't even have to do all that. She can just be doing Identity and Spark the whole time. So go ahead. It just gets me every time, right? So now I have to jump over all this stuff. But now she also has Air Razor Ring. Because it's 30. Look at that. Just completely punishing that. So basically, I would say, you know, go against Rambo with Jade because she has really great strings. Her frames are great against anything that he does. And if you can false block some of his strings, you can immediately punish with back 3. And that'll just really, really hurt him. It's just so much that can get floss blocked. So there's just a lot of weaknesses with him. And I think that Jade is his biggest counterpick to basically exploiting all of those things. She has the frames to punish them. She has the air to punish him. She has the spacing mid-range to punish him. Tough. Jade is a tough character for Rambo. So I would suggest shoulder roll to get in. I would suggest Claymore to do restands and to separate yourself when she's being really aggressive. Because some Jades could have that EX dash kick, right? So you don't want them really doing that on you randomly. So you just establish that. My final thoughts on Rambo is that he is a wonderful, well-rounded character with amazing zoning tools. I believe that He is the most uniquely fitted character to preserve a life lead when that is the most important thing you want to do in this game, because you have jumping and you have mashing. He is one of the best zoning characters in the game to preserve a life lead with. You can be very versatile with him, defensive or offensive. You just have to keep in mind that he has a lot of false block gaps in his strings. And, at certain distances, you can't use specific zoning tools or else you get really punished. So my final recommendations is, God bless your heart if you use this character, because he's hard to use. He's really big brain, but he's really fun. Once you get to know him, once you get to play him, and you dedicate your time to him, hey, you could be like me. You could be like Rolfo. You could be like one of the best out there. So don't give up on him. He's a good, very fair, solid character. And that's all we've got. So you can also check out all the things shown in this video in the text version via the link in the description. If you like this video, please leave a like or comment below with your thoughts. Thanks for watching. This is Rambo Lloyd. I'm out.